Hey, folks, and welcome back to Glenn and Adrian's Rock Talk. That's Adrian.
And that's Glenn.
And today we're going to take a look at an artist named Tristan Tritt. He's got a very famous father. However, he, too, is an artist, and he's writing some pretty good rock songs, I think. And they kind of have an introspective feel to some of them. I think it's one of those things that could play on the radio. Apparently, he put out an EP last year, a 5-song EP. But he's got a few other videos that are recent. This particular song is the one we were talking about when I interviewed him, and that interview dropped Thursday on Modern Rock Talk. We were talking about the song Wannabe. So the song is out now. The video is not out yet, but I thought it would still be interesting to take a look at the song and just talk about Tristan a little bit. Of course, Adrian, you and I are not familiar with his dad in the least, as far as I understand it, right?
Not really. I've kind of been living in a cave for a long time.
It's okay. It's okay. We were not country music fans for the most part. His father won several Grammys and is very celebrated, I guess is the way to put it. Had a very successful career. So this song has to do with imposter syndrome, is what he was telling me in the interview. In fact, we can play a little piece of that right now just to take a look at his words on it. I listened to the new song. I think it's really strong. I liked the words. I went over the words really carefully. I also looked at Stop the Ride, which I think was your last one, right?
Yes, sir.
And it sounded like it was kind of a similar subject matter.
Absolutely.
Kind of talking about kind of getting out from under the shadow, perhaps, of a famous father who's also in the music business. And so,
in a way, it's kind of just bringing up a subject that honestly people ask me about a lot and have always been curious about, especially in the South, of what it's like growing up with that. And I've never seen it as a negative thing, just something that's kind of obviously it's the elephant in the room when you're gonna do the same career path as someone who's been successful in it. You always are going to get kind of labeled as like a Nepo baby or something like that, which I accept. That is what it is. There's always been a very definitive line, though, of not just music taste, but our stylistic differences and stuff. So with this new song, I really wanted to kind of lean into that a little bit and go off of the whole imposter syndrome. And then towards the end, there's kind of this reconcile / understanding of the whole thing. And like, it's something that most men understand the older they get, is like, oh, I see the similarities in my father within myself. And there's also a lot of Greek mythos behind it with sort of the wordplay, because I love the story of Icarus.
okay.
So there's a lot of I flew too close to the sun type, imagery within the chorus that I thought was really, really cool. So yeah, there's a lot of that subject matter that I've really wanted to discuss in the past few years, but I think now has really been the time to kind of hone in and be as authentic about it as possible, as well as put my spin on just how I view the music industry.
Yeah, so there you go. That's what I had to say. So the story of Icarus. Icarus is somewhat under the shadow of his father. His father was Daedalus, and he was an inventor, and he was famous for that. Daedalus crafted artificial wings made of wax and feathers, which he and his son Icarus used to escape from Crete when King Minos imprisoned them. Unfortunately, Icarus flew too close to the sun, causing his wings to melt, resulting in his death. But Daedalus made it home just fine. It's kind of the whole thing of, you're trying to show that you're just as good as your dad, perhaps. Maybe that's why he was flying too close to the sun. So that's kind of what it comes down to, is he feels like, well, now he's got to kind of prove himself a little bit. A lot of Tristan's words are like that. They kind of give you time to think a little bit about what he's talking about, and it can actually extend out to other situations in life. Okay, so with that in mind, why don't we go ahead and take a look at his song. Again, there's no video right now, but if you like his song, he does have several videos on his YouTube channel. And so we'll leave the link to this song in our description so that you can take a look if you're interested. All right. But let's go ahead and take a look at Wannabe, and we will discuss afterwards. All right.
You're casting stones from a glass house, setting my legacy ablaze. go round and round like a carousel. Say all my music sounds the same. Neck deep, head above the water. I'm too short on the shoulders of my father. I flew too close to the sun, still raising hell and having fun. Not who I wanna be. I hate what I become. I stumble till I run. Guess I'm a wannabe. I'm drinking spirits till I crash out. I'd rather bend before I break. My foolish pride seems to lash out. I better give before I take. Neck deep, head above the water. I'm too short in the shadow of my father. I flew too close to the sun, still raising hell and having fun. Not who I wanna be. I hate what I become. I stumble till I run. Guess I'm a wannabe. Neck deep, head above the water. Goddamn, I become my father. I flew too close to the sun, still raising hell and having fun. I'm who I wanna be. Some things you can't outrun. When it's all said and done, guess I'm a wannabe. Still raising hell and having fun. I'm who I wanna be. Some things you can't outrun. When it's all said and done, guess I'm a wannabe.
Well, you have any thoughts, Adrian?
Oh, I like the good ethereal vibe in the beginning. Somehow detected hints of country and southern rock.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And certainly his dad being a country guy. And I should mention right now, normally I wouldn't bring up his father so much because it's not about his father after all. It's about him as being his very own viable artist. I mean, it sounds like to my ears. I could hear that song on the radio easily. Every time we came around to the pre-chorus before the chorus, he's talking about neck deep, head above the water. He's either too short on the shoulders of his father or in the shadow of his father. If you're on his shoulders, you're getting a boost from your dad. But if you're in a shadow, then you're kind of struggling with that, you know, trying to get out of his shadow. And there's a lot of artists that have come and gone that are in that situation. I mean, some of the most famous examples are Julian Lennon and John Lennon's son. And it was unfortunate for him because he sounds so much like John Lennon and looks so much like John Lennon that I think it was tough on him to get out from under the shadow. But then on the other side of that coin, you got Jeff Buckley, who, by the way, he mentioned was another influence of his for the sheer depth of humanity. And Jeff eclipsed his father, Tim, who himself was very well respected. Getting back to Tristan, those are some of the themes, in a way, that he's dealing with in this song. In the interview, I tried to tie that also to the previous song, Stop the Ride, but it turns out that one is really more about having to take the bad with the good when you're trying to become a successful artist, or really anybody that's away from home all the time, you know, like a trucker. You may be doing what you want to do, but it comes at a serious cost sometimes to your relationships and other things. There are things that you have to compromise and kind of skip over in life, kind of the various milestones. I think he's an artist of depth and worth watching, and it's going to be nice to see how he progresses with this. he says he would like to do an album someday. He's not ready for that just yet. That for this year, anyway, the idea is going to be just to put out singles. And I think that's fine. But yeah, I mean, I'm already thinking I can't wait to hear his debut album because I think it's going to be pretty good. You know, and I hope that these videos help to get him out there a little bit more into the rock audiences who maybe are not familiar with him or look at his name and think, oh, this is probably a country kid or something, you know.
I learned a lot from this video today, hearing you talk about the interview and everything.
Yeah, I'll leave that in the cards if people want to see that, and maybe I'll leave it on the end screen, as a matter of fact, if you just want to take a look at our conversation. Really interesting just to talk to him. Okay, folks, well, why don't you let us know what you thought of this? If you've ever heard anything else from Tristan, if there's something that you want to include that maybe has a connection to his dad in terms of this song or anything else. Again, we're not going to, other than this video, we're generally not going to focus on that if we look at Tristan's work. And if you have other suggestions for us, please leave those below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you enjoyed our presentation, please subscribe. All right, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next one. All right, take care, folks.
See y'all later.